Greetings and salutations. My name is Nikki. This is my channel. Welcome if you are new. Welcome back if you're returning. I appreciate you both. I wanted to make a video about what privacy looks like for a 4-bedroom family in a 3-bedroom home. There are so many different steps to this video, so please forgive me if it feels like I'm jumping around. I may have filmed it out of order. First of all, if I say things like first of all, then you're going to know I'm out of order. So let's try this. How did I end up here? The household used to look like my husband and I in the master bedroom, child 1 in bedroom 1, child 2 in bedroom 2. And my phone stand makes a great script stand as well. You can't see it because I'm not going to take it down and show you, but trust me when I say. This is hard because I have a script and I don't usually have scripts, and so I'm like worried I'm not going to flow normally like I do, but I really want to get to the points that I've written down. So the points I have written down. How did I end up here? What does privacy actually mean in my house? Why don't I share a bedroom? Or why don't you share a bedroom? Why not just move or add space? What hasn't worked, and that's okay. Could we have done more? How do you protect dignity in tight and shared spaces? And are you settling or choosing? How did I end up here? This is not complicated, but it is different. My husband and I have been married since 2001. We got married in September, shortly before the 9/11 attacks. And things were status quo, as you expect for a married couple, up until 2018, when my husband and I had a difference of opinion regarding intimacy and what that looked like for our marriage. And my choice was to move to the sofa. And now my husband's in the master bedroom, my kid has a room, my other kid has a room, and I have a sofa in the living room, which means I live in shared space. And it's so far from what normal feels like it should be. Like, even if normal looked like even the normal part of this, my husband and I separated in 2018. Even the normal part of it, I didn't move out. He didn't move out. We didn't start separate households. We can't. Financially, emotionally, I suppose. And at the time, the kids were still in school, and I wanted them to reach the traditional point of adulthood before I made any drastic changes to the family structure. Was that the best choice for the kids? Possibly not. Was it just an excuse for me? Maybe. But that's what we decided. That's what I decided I wanted. And so that's why we're still together. Now, other things have changed, like the traditional point of adulthood, where usually not in a perfect world, in my head and in my husband's head, we grew up expecting you hit 18, you move out, you go to school, you get a job, you get your own place. And it doesn't look like that right now. It doesn't look like that right now for our kids, and that's fine. And it doesn't look like that right now for a lot of people. It's expensive Apartments are stupid expensive. It's hard to get a job. The country's kind of going down a shithole. Pardon my language, but that's my opinion. And so all of this just looks different. I hope I just suddenly hit a wall and now I've lost my train of thought. The train has left the station and I am still standing there. So that's what the household used to look like. It used to be, my life was on the traditional trajectory in my mind, which looked like you graduate high school, you go to college, you meet your spouse, you have kids, you get a stable job, you having a place together, you buy a house, you raise your kids, and in there, it deviated from kids turn 18, kids leave the house and go to college, kids get their own places, to what we are now, which is perfectly fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this variation for me, for our family, that our kids are still at home. They are adults. One is employed, one is not employed. It's all good. Like, I'm so happy that we are in a position where we can still protect our kids and let them get to the point where they're ready to be on their own naturally. I don't think we're going to end up with kids living with us forever, but even if we are, my kids are cool. I like my kids. So what does privacy actually mean in my house? Physical versus mental privacy. Like, physically, the private space is the traditional private space, the bathroom. I don't have a bedroom to go to, but I still share the bedroom. Like, my clothes still live in the master bedroom. So I still share that space that way. While my husband and I might be separated, there is less of a need to have strict privacy, where one person is, or I am alone in a space to get dressed, to do those kind of things, to get ready for work, to, obviously in the bathroom I have my privacy and that is private, but in the bedroom it is less private, but it's also less critical that it be private. There's mentally is a little different because I don't have a space that is mine to go and retreat to. I don't have a room where I can go and read a book. I don't have a room where I can go and, I'm not going to go there. I don't have a private space to work. I don't have a private space to relax. I don't have a private space to any of that. Right now, the space I'm in is private because I asked my child, if you plan on going to the living room and shutting the door that's back there, maybe you want to do that now. They decided to go up to their room. So they have provided privacy for me, and it's not something I am in a space that is private. I'm here by the back door because it's amazing natural light and it's a different view. I didn't want to set up the Ring camera or the Ring light. Not that there's much setting up to do. I leave it plugged in all the time, so all I really need to do is move it, but I just didn't feel like using it today. Quiet versus alone versus uninterrupted. I mean, there's quiet time because everyone is involved in their own thing. My son will be on the computer with earbuds in, watching a video. My other child will be in another room doing the same thing, listening to TikToks and playing a video game. My husband will have earbuds in, watching a video or working on his projects. And so in that way, there is some privacy for me because I can sit on the sofa and do what I choose, which I might also do in a room that was private or just mine. But like physically, I'm not alone. Sleep privacy, there's not really, because I choose to go to bed often while other people are still awake. And I choose to not require that everyone leave my chosen sleep space when I choose to sleep. I also choose not to wait to sleep until my chosen sleep space is empty. So that is completely a choice for me. And I'm cool with that. I really hope this is recording. This would suck if it's not recording because it's going pretty well. So yeah, that's that. Why don't we share a bedroom, but we do share space in the bedroom? I'm going to skip that. I kind of already answered that. I mean, essentially, there was a difference of opinion I said I'm just going to skip it. No, I'm not skipping it. There was a difference of an opinion as to what intimacy needed to look like in our marriage. And my choice was to remove myself from the situation. Why not just move or add space? Okay, this is a great question. Let's There's two reasons: money and structure. Our house is not structured in a way that we can add space easily. We live in a row home. We have a neighbor on one side. We have an alley on the other side. The alley the space between our house and the next house is, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet maybe. Not very big. There's not room to expand the house. So structurally, that's why we don't just add space. Now, could we add space in the basement? Potentially. But we've had so many issues with the basement in terms of sewage issues and water damage issues and the furnaces down there. And I am sure it is stock full of radon. It doesn't make the financial burden of sucking it up and getting it cleaned and appropriate for a living space is more than we have. And the same thing, why don't I just move? Why doesn't one of us just move? Why don't we both just move? Money, the housing market, which is great for sellers, and us as a seller, it's good. The values of homes have increased, and that's the downside when you need to go and purchase a home. Now, there are nuances in terms of home equity, and you get that back when you sell, and so you use that towards the down payment, and then you have a lower mortgage payment in the future. It's not like you need to calculate it from scratch and it's going to go from $1,000 to $2,000. It's actually going to be more nuanced than that, but I haven't gone through and researched those nuances just because right now things are working. So, I mean, they're not ideal, but they're working. Also, we have looking at long-term goals versus short-term discomfort. Excuse me. Long-term goals versus short-term discomfort. The discomfort in the short term is adaptable, is acceptable, and long-term goals of, at some point there will be a need to move, and we're just not there yet. What hasn't worked, and that's okay, basement ideas that didn't pan out, room arrangements that failed. I mean, ideally, I could take the dining room and convert it into a bedroom. However, it would still be a shared space because the way the house is structured is what you're seeing right now is like the little mudroom entryway. and then the kitchen is behind me, and then the dining room is the room behind that, and then the living room is the room behind that, and each room stretches the entire width of the house. So it would be a walk-through bedroom, which are less than ideal. It would have 2 points of entry, and to get privacy in such a way, we would need to get like bed screens, and I don't know. It's still an option, and it's still something I'm considering, especially because this last summer we ripped up the carpet in my kids' room, and so they have hardwood floors now, and it looks really nice. And so I thought, oh, I could do that in the dining room, but I'm just not sure I'm up for it. I just haven't really decided yet, but that's a potential. Why in theory solutions don't always work in real life? I'm going to skip that question. Could we have done more? I'm not sure what that question means right now. The answer to the question that I wrote down is yes, and it would have cost more than we have to give. The possibility does not also always equal sustainability. I'm not sure whether that means could we have done more in our relationship to make things work out and maintain the status quo, or if that means could we have done more to ensure that there was privacy for all of us. I don't know. So we're gonna skip that. How do you protect dignity in tight and shared spaces? What it boils down to is we are a family. We don't have strangers walking through our house regularly. So transitions between private spaces, bathrooms, and bedrooms, modesty is ensured. However, it's family modesty and not necessarily stranger modesty. I don't know how, like, essentially, if there's someone in the bathroom, you can hear, because the house is small, everything that's going on. And you can tell when a certain door closes that the person is ready to leave. You give them 5 minutes to get from the restroom, when you can hear those doors open, the fans shut off, etc., till they get to their room. If you're moving from your room to the restroom, you're ensuring your modesty in case somebody, surprise, exits their room. If we catch someone in a compromising situation, you turn, you give them their space, they get to where they need to be, you continue. We're a family, essentially. I know some people are like anti-nudity at all times, and some people are like the naked body is normal and we share it openly with the members of our intimate family. We're sort of in the middle there. So we protect dignity partially by paying attention to what the other people are doing and acknowledging that there is going to be a time when they're going to be transporting from privacy to privacy through a public space. We just deal with that. Am I settling or choosing? Am I settling or choosing? It isn't a permanent situation that we're in, but it is intentional for now. I have chosen to move myself to the sofa as my choice. I am okay with that choice. It's not ideal, but that's what it is right now. It's cool. Privacy isn't gone, it's redistributed. I don't know what that means. And we're choosing what we deserve most. One of the questions that I had when I brainstormed this before I polished things up was, why am I settling for less privacy than I deserve? And the rephrasing of that question is am I settling or choosing? And essentially I'm choosing. I'm choosing to stay in a situation that is familiar, that is safe, that doesn't pose a lot of new risks, and like, I'm choosing this over diving into a new life just because I'm more comfortable here and I'm okay with the level of comfort that I have and the level of privacy that I have. And so I'm not settling, I'm choosing, and that's okay for this and for anyone facing hard decisions like this. For some people, the best decision is to split, is to maintain 2 households, is to whatever. And for some people, the best situation is something completely random like this situation. So that is what I have. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, or thoughtful contributions, I would love to hear them in the comments. If you stuck around this long, and if you want to leave a sofa or a bed, where would you rather sleep, in the comments, that would be funny. And other than that, that's all I have. I hope you're having a spectacular day. If you're not having a spectacular day, I hope you're having a good day. If you're not having a good day, I hope tomorrow's better. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. And fingers crossed that this recorded. Yeah, Brad.